All right, good evening, everybody, and good evening. Welcome to Trailblazers Radio. You guys could have been anywhere else, but you guys are right here with us, and we most definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching us tonight, man. Um, we have a great show for you guys tonight, and so you guys better be prepared because this is going to be a great show for you guys tonight. I have my one of my beautiful hosts in the building, Miss Quint Jones, yeah,
Yeah.
and then I have my guest of the hour, Miss Michelle Cain. And we're gonna get into it tonight. We're gonna have a great conversation about her books, well, her book, and then and a whole lot of other things. But before we do that, I do want to say this, man. I want you guys to please like and share this with your friends or with your circle of influence, and continue to follow us on Facebook at Trailblazers Radio, also on Instagram and on YouTube at Trailblazers Radio. Also, continue to follow my two hosts, their platform, My Life Has Destiny and Curvy World Entertainment and Travel, respectively. And again, I also want to, the last but most certainly not least, I want to most definitely thank the Most High God for this particular moment, because without Him, there is no me and there's no Trailblazers Radio. So I most certainly thank Him for the opportunity to be able to bring these types of programs, and also these dynamic and such marvelous individuals to the forefront. So I really want to thank God for the opportunity of life, and also the opportunity of being connected to such wonderful and powerful people. So, without any further ado, I am going to introduce the lady of the hour right now, and she doesn't really need an introduction, but we are going to do that anyway. So, this young lady, and I do mean young. She's an author. She's an inspirational author. And she's someone I think everybody should get to know. She has a very good book that's out right now, and we're gonna talk about that. But before we do, I'm gonna give her a very nice warm welcome to authoress Michelle Cain. Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing wonderful, thank you. Doing wonderful. So your Friday's been pretty good?
Yes, it's been good. Glad to be alive.
Indeed.
Amen.
Indeed. So I hope you don't mind me being very forward, but I want to jump right into this. So I want to talk a little bit about um, your writing. Where did it was writing something that you grew into, or was it something that you liked from the beginning? Where did that begin?
Well, it goes back to when I was growing up. When you grow up, your parents gave you allowance money, to buy toys or something. I never did. My parents could hear you. I never did. I always bought paper, pencils, markers, because I always loved to write. But I didn't know that was the path that God was going to take me, was writing. Because in school, they would ask you, what you want to be when you grow up. I didn't say a writer. I said a nurse. But God took me another way. And I really got into my writings after I graduated high school. That's really when I tapped into my writing. And I haven't stopped writing since.
So now, did you dabble a little bit in it while you were in high school, or was it something kind of like a on off thing, or was it more or less a hobby at that point?
Well, it was a hobby to start off with, and then I dipped and dabbed a little bit, but I really didn't really get into it until after I graduated.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, and I think for a lot of us who are writers, we have what I like to call humble beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
For some of us, our love of writing started as just being a reader, like me,
Mm-hmm.
and then for some of us, like you were always grabbing pens and paper and stuff like that. So you were always willing to just be able to write things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as you were dabbling in it in high school, and then as you got more serious about it, what were your early works like? Were they poetry? Were they short stories, or were they just just things that you were just thinking about and you just wrote about it?
Um, it was like really things that I was experiencing in life. Um, concerning self-esteem and going through certain things that I was going through with as a young lady. Relationships. Um, it was just different things that I was experiencing that I wrote about, and that writing helped me to release what I was dealing with. So that's how I dealt with that.
Oof. I know. It's still. I mean, even now, I mean, writing for me is still a release. I mean,
Hmm.
man, I think
Can
that's
I
what. Go
can
ahead.
I ask a question dealing with the self-esteem? How did
Hmm.
you overcome low self-esteem, and was it a result of your circumstances, or was it something that from other kids? What was your issue?
Um, well, my self-esteem issue started in school. Um, kids, because see, I'm gonna tell you, I was never a skinny person. I was always what we say what big, fluffy. I was
Mhm.
I wasn't skinny, and a lot of kids picked on me because how big I was,
Mhm.
and that's when low self esteem started. But my mom would always tell me, you know, you pretty. My mom would always encourage me and help me to lift my self esteem. But I had to get to the point of that. Okay, Michelle, this is you. I'm doing this for you. You gotta love you. No matter what other people say about you, you gotta love you. You gotta do it for you. So that's when I began to work on myself and work on my self esteem, and the rest is history.
They said the rest is history. I
Amen.
love it.
And that's true. You have to be able to validate yourself when it comes to your own self esteem. Because I
Yeah.
found, being that I'm dark skinned, a lot of people in my family, we're we're mixed family. So you have the lighter ones, then you have dark skinned ones. But a lot of my family, they would call me my uncles ink spot, stuff like that. And it took a toll on my self esteem. And then they would try to cover it up. Oh, black beauty. No, you already done called me ink spot. So guess what? That part is what I gravitated towards. And then as I got older, dealing with all that I dealt with, it became something totally different. So now you got the promiscuity, you got all of that other stuff that plays a part in your self esteem. But I always had a great looking body to me. Now, no, plus I wore thick glasses. So that was another issue that played in my self esteem. I couldn't see past the glasses. I had real thick hair. I couldn't see past all that. But seeing me now, I really had to pray and ask God to work in me. And my circumstances of my first marriage, a marriage could break you down also. It was like, yo, this is crazy. Okay, I am a beautiful person. And I had to learn to validate myself. When nobody else is around, you have to be able to validate yourself and love on yourself in order to move forward and love on somebody else. So
Right,
I commend you for that.
right, and
Yes.
we got our first question of the night actually.
Hey, Colleen.
So Colleen says, so when you were buying books and pencils at that young age, did anyone say anything or you didn't care?
Um, I didn't care because I knew that there was a purpose and I had a gift for writing, but I didn't really realize it until I got older because I knew I was different from all the other kids. And I knew that God had something for me to do at a young age, but I really didn't tap into it until I got older.
I mean, that's cool. I like that right there. And then, but just really just kind of walking back to the self esteem part. I think that for a lot of us, we deal with those particular issues, whether
Mm-hmm.
not light enough, not dark enough. you know,
Mhm.
not small enough, and then people pick on you because of your size, and they use that as some way to break you down. But the way that you and Quinn have mentioned it, it's I like the simple fact that you didn't let that bother you. You didn't let that affect you. You didn't let that
Mhm.
bring you to the point to where you got to a woe is me type situation, and you just wanted to be like, well, let me just give up. I like the fact that you didn't allow it to deter you. That you kept pushing forward regardless of that. And you know, I always say, you can say what you want, but as long as you don't put your hands on me, we're fine.
Mhm.
So you can say whatever you want to me. You
Yep.
can say I'm fat. You can say I'm skinny. You can say whatever. But as long as you don't physically touch me, we're fine.
Mhm.
A lot of us, I think, in this day and age, we concentrate so much on what's said to us
Mhm.
and what is projected to us, and then also what we see in the media. These girls with these hourglass figures and dudes looking like Arnold
Mhm.
Schwarzenegger and stuff like that. I mean, that's the expectation.
But now in the media, you have the bold, pleasantly plump women that are coming forward, and I
Oh
love
yeah.
seeing the full figured women.
Oh
They
yeah.
took, I love that movie, Fat Girls by Monique.
Yep. I seen it.
Her, and she turned it around. Fat means pretty hot and tempting now.
Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
And I mean, these women are gorgeous. And I could say that because I feel like I'm a beautiful woman. You can't
Mhm.
take that away from me anymore. No person can ever break me down. So I can confidently say, now I'm
Mhm.
beautiful inside and out. Now, when I see these women, I don't have a problem with complimenting a full figure
Mhm.
woman or complimenting a woman my size. I don't have a problem with doing that because if you're beautiful, you're beautiful. It does
Right.
not matter and it doesn't take anything away from me. We're not in competition. We're here to support each other, to push each other, to build each
Mhm.
other up. It's easy to break somebody down, but those
Mm-hmm.
that are breaking each other down are those that have low self esteem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
Most definitely. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and the good thing, and the one thing I like about what you said earlier is that you found confidence at an early age,
Mhm.
and you took that confidence, and you put that as a part of your psyche, as a part of your essence, and you said, look, this is me. I don't care what nobody say or what they think or
Mhm.
what it is. This is who I am. Like it, like it or not like it.
It's me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
so
love
means
it.
so many people, especially our own people, are just broken down by low self esteem, especially by what they see or by what they think of themselves. And that's
One of the key things she also said is her mom
mm-hmm,
told her, always told her she is beautiful. You can't worry about what they say on the on
Mhm.
the outside. Now that's so important to be able to validate your children at home and give them that confidence. Because when you're not validated at home, a lot of times you go looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yep.
So that validation
unfortunately.
is so important.
And yes, it is. It surely is. Now, as you began to be, to write more actively,
Mhm.
where what now you said mostly it was just for kind of just to write about the things that you went through and the things that you experienced.
Mhm.
What made it much more important to write about things outside of that?
With the writings that I have in the book, I really got into it when the pandemic first hit because I watched the news and watched people giving up on life because they was going through so many challenges and struggles. And I felt that writing this and putting this together, I wanted to help inspire and uplift and encourage and motivate people to let them know, don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on God, because it might not look like it now, but things will get better. And I wanted to put this book together, praying that it will uplift and encourage people to just keep moving forward, keep pushing. Don't give up, don't quit.
Yeah, this pandemic has took a very I'll say that it's really just ran roughshod over a lot of things and a lot of people. I mean,
Mhm.
it has really just taken a large amount of everything out of everybody. Those who are either directly or indirectly affected, and it has kind of put an ugly light on a whole lot of things. You know, I mean, I could go back as far as say, January 6th probably rings a bell for a lot of people, and, and it puts a lot of things in a very ugly light, and a lot of people are seeing those things for the ugliness that it is, and they're saying, well, wow, this is what it really is, man. I should just give up right now. I mean, I have good friends that we talk about this not on a daily basis, but enough for to where we to discuss it, and they've been at points to where they want to just throw in the towel and say, man, this ain't worth it. If we gotta live like this, or we gotta continue our existence in this particular state, then why work? Then why do all this? You know, I mean, we're honestly speaking, and this is just a little slightly off topic. I mean, I know that we're social creatures. We're supposed to interact with one another. We're supposed to talk. We're supposed to have we're supposed to have conversations. We're supposed to interact personally and and outside of that, whether it's how we're communicating tonight, or even if we're face to face. You know, certain instances take away that. But I mean, for you to write something about, to inspire people not to give up, that it speaks volumes to, you know, first of all, the power of God in your life. Number one. Number two is just your aptitude to want to help people. Because too many of us want to help ourselves, but not extend our hearts out to people.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's very commendable, extremely commendable. Now, did you write that with the fact of extending your heart out to people in mind?
Yes, because watching the news and watching what people was going through with in all the different states, people that was in these food lines, and the lines were so long, when they got to the front, wasn't nothing there. And
Mm.
they didn't have anything to feed their children or their families. So this book really, I really pressed to get this book done, because I felt that it was a need to really help inspire, encourage, and uplift people, especially during that time, because I believe that people really needed it.
Mm. Still do. Still do. Still do. You know.
Some people, for me, honestly, the pandemic was supposed to be, it's a blessing and a curse. And I say this because if you truly understood what it is and what it was supposed to do, it should have brought you closer to your family. It should have caused you to get closer to God, build a closer relationship, interact more with your family,
Mm-hmm.
show them that you truly love them. However, with the loss, and we know people have to die, with the tremendous loss that was there, that's the curse in it, because we lost people so suddenly.
Right.
But even in the death, you have to see the positive and the negative, because some people's lives weren't in vain. Some
Mm-hmm.
people, it caused you to understand them a little bit more, even though they're not here now. You got to see what they really brought to this world. You really got to take time to look and see how much people truly love them and how they impacted people. So their lives weren't in vain, but it was their time, unfortunately. And no, all of it wasn't expected, but a lot of them died because of underlying issues.
Of
And
course.
then with the COVID, of course, now they say it's COVID. But some of us knew it was coming. It just increased or made it a little bit quicker, unfortunately. I worked in hospitals during this time. Some people that didn't even have COVID because they showed a sign of it was being patented with COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, because it's
Wow.
about money, but we're not even here for that. So I truly thank you for inspiring others to sit down and write, inspiring others to encourage them to just find their creativity. You know what I'm saying? And help them to realize that this is not a death sentence.
Nope. Nope.
There's life after this. We can still live. We can still create. We still have a mind. We can still socialize, but you have to find other ways of doing it. And it's time for you to love a little bit more and reach out a little bit more and help your
Mm-hmm.
neighbor a little bit more. It's so important for us to connect
And to stay connected.
and stay
Yes.
connected.
Man, it's um and then you brought something up that's brings up a very poignant point for me is that I'm so grateful for the connections that I have now and the ones that I'll establish.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important to stay connected to the people that share like mindedness with you and want to see you push yourself forward. So I'm very grateful for the connections that I have. I mean, regardless of if they come out to be successful connections or not successful connections, I'm just grateful for being connected with people, being connected with
Amen.
people.
So true.
So,
Yes.
Michelle, besides the onset of COVID, were there other events that you may have observed or witnessed that may have also prompted the creation of the book that you currently have out?
Um. Well, the book. Well, not just the COVID, but it also dealt with some writings in there that I've done due to going through the process of writing the book. I wrote. There was one writing that says to trust the process. The
Ah.
process. The process was, you know, God, I wanted this to hurry up, put it together. God was like, "Nah, you have to take your time and do this
That's
because
right.
there were certain things that He wanted me to write to put in the book
Mm-hmm.
to inspire and encourage people."
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I came up with the title for one was Trust the Process. So there was a long process I had to go through to put this book together.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also another one I did was be a go-getter and not just a sitter.
Mm.
I like that.
Wow.
I wrote that one because a lot of people, I tell them, don't sit around doing nothing with your life. Be a
Mm-hmm.
go getter and go after your goals and dreams that you have in life.
That's right.
And and people that are sitters, they'll tell you how to do your book or tell you how to do your show, but they don't have no goals and dreams of their own.
That's
So
right.
that's why I always tell people to be a go getter and don't be a sitter. So it's different things
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
in the book. It's a mixture of some of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Mm-hmm.
don't be.
I like
I
that.
love that. Be a go
Mm-hmm.
getter. Don't be a sitter. I
That's
think.
right.
I think for someone, I think if we sit around too long, nothing happens
Mm-hmm.
because we're expecting it to happen, or we're just expecting something to just fall in our lap, and that's really not the case. You have to go. You have to go pursue the things that you want. You have to pursue your dreams. You
Mm-hmm.
have to pursue your hopes. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't pursue those things,
Yep.
I'll say this: the one thing that I hate. I won't say I hate. The one thing that I kind of detest is stagnation. Being being at a standstill. Being stagnant. Because stagnation stifles creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally, to me, kills growth.
Mm-hmm. It
So
does.
if you're stagnant, you can't move. Or
Yep.
if you choose to be stagnant, then you'll never get to where you want to be or to the place you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, I love that saying. It is so. It is, and it's more. It's important now more than any time. Than more than any time it ever could have been important. If yeah, I'm I'm speechless on that because that statement is very important now, more so now than any time ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to write for you to write a book like this and that's inspirational to people, despite what they're experiencing and going through, will mean so much to a lot of people. Um, so much to a lot of people. Regardless of what they're going through or what they're experiencing. I mean, I can't. I mean, there's not much more I can say to that really, because if people pick it up and they read it, they're gonna be like, okay, I can go one more day. I can last another hour. I can take five more steps forward.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy that despite all the things that's going on with, like I said, with the onset of COVID, and then all the, and I don't want to necessarily speak on this you know, right now, but just to kind of mention it to bring context of what we're talking about with the onset of COVID and the racial injustice that's going on. This book is really, I would say, very timely. Very timely.
Definitely.
Now, for you, Michelle, was it, besides the process of writing, was it, what difficulties did you face when you in crafting this book?
Um, I think the only thing about this was the only issue I ever had was procrastination. Was I I didn't think that anyone would read the book. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think that anyone would want to hear anything I had to say.
Mm,
I was really hesitant about doing and putting the
Mm-hmm.
book together. But that voice that's back there that says put it out there
Mm-hmm.
because you never know who will read the book and who will this book will help.
That's right.
So that's when I stepped out on faith and put the book out there. And I
Mm-hmm.
have to say, so far, I have been getting great reviews about the book.
Praise God.
I was going to ask you about that too. You know, since your book's been published, you just mentioned you
Mhm.
got great reviews about the book. Um, so the reaction has been mostly positive.
Yes,
That's good.
yes, yes. They have told me personally, and some of them have posted on my page that the book was a great inspiration to them. And a lot of them take the book on their job and read the book when they need that burst of inspiration, when their day is not going well, they'll read the book. And the book has helped them. So, yes, it's
And
been great.
Very good. Very good. And so I think and Quinn can attest to this. I mean, reviews, whether they're negative or positive, help a writer
Mhm.
in all ways. It doesn't.
yes.
They don't have to always be 5-star reviews. I mean,
Mhm.
even a 1-star review can be for me, can be that
Mhm.
thing like, okay, let me just improve that. Let me
Right.
make let me make an adjustment there. Now, I know for me, my writing process and everyone else's writing process is completely different. Um, So what's your now we and I know I posted it on our on the page that we have. You know, what's everybody's writing style? I know everybody doesn't have a style, so
Mhm.
I get and I understand that. So, but what's your writing process? Do you do you write it in a notebook first and then you translate it to a laptop, or is there everything though is pen and paper?
Um, I write it in a notebook first, and then I type it in the laptop because a lot of times I'm writing, um, I have to add a piece, and when I write it in the notebook, I can go back and edit it and do this and do that. But a lot of times, I can be writing, and if I go to bed and go to sleep, and I wake up, I have to have that notebook near me because I have to add another piece to it. So so I have to put it in the notebook first, then I type it out on the laptop.
I thought I was the only one that I thought I was the only one that did that. That's old school. I thought I was the only one
Yep.
that did it like that. So the one thing that affects us all as writers is this thing called writer's block. To the point to where we get to a point where we're writing a story or we're writing a piece about something and we get stuck. We can't.
Mm-hmm.
There's no ideas coming out of our mind, and we
Mm-hmm.
can't progress what we're writing forward.
Mm-hmm.
What solution or solutions do you use for, combating writer's block?
Well, for me, if I have a writer's block, what I do is I will close the notebook and sit it on the desk. And I'll say, now, Lord, I said, now, you have blessed me to take this path. I said, you going to have to tell me what to write. I said, because my mind is blank. I can't think of nothing. I said, I'm going to need your help on this one. And I just sit there at my desk. I'll close my eyes for a while. Then all of a sudden, I open the notebook. I'm back to writing. So that's what I do when I have writer's block because I just can't. Nothing comes to mind. That's what I have to do. Close the book and ask God to give it to me.
Mm. Look, I know for me, it's just like for me, I occupy my mind with something else. I don't. If I can't think of an idea or something to drive what I'm writing forward, let me just try something different, or let me just occupy my mind with another activity. Maybe a couple hours later, I'll come back to it. Now, and I know the one thing that I did post in our group before, what's everybody's writing style? And I know you mentioned that you don't necessarily have a style. You write as God directs you to write.
Mm-hmm.
Now, down the line, with future iterations of whatever book or any other books that you write, do you see yourself developing a style as you continue to write?
Um, I don't think so because I don't think so. I, but I think I'll still be doing the same thing, just as God give it to me. I write it. I don't think I'll have a specific writing style.
I'm with you, Michelle, because for me, when I start writing, I start out typing. I never go straight to a notebook. I start out typing.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I stop, I have to go back and read everything that I have written. And then God will give me the content. He will also give me the style of the book. So even with my first book, when I first started, it was like, okay, you had to do this process of the affirmations, but now I want you to break it down so a child can understand it. So I need for you to look up the definitions of each word that you're dealing with. Not only that, the people have to know that you identify with them. So you need to put part of your testimony in, and then back it up and seal it with the scripture. So I
Mm.
was like, okay, God. So when I started writing my second book, and being that it was about my life, it's like so many people have gone through this. But when you started out in it, you didn't realize you was in domestic violence. Do they realize they're in domestic violence? So now
Mm-hmm.
you need to ask them the question so that they can identify with it. So I'm with you. God gives me the content of how I need to write the book, but
Yeah.
I just start out writing and everything else comes next.
Yeah.
See, I see. Mhm. I see.
Yes.
For
I
me,
just
I had to develop a style, something that was uniquely my own, but something that was useful to me. Um, like I said, I mean, honestly speaking, I've been writing since, gosh, since I was like 8 years old, and I mean, now this is no knock on how you guys are, because I mean that's because that's number one for me, that's wonderful. And I guess for someone like me who writes mostly, I guess for someone who writes mostly fiction,
Mhm.
you have to, there's a style that you have to develop a style with that. I think with inspirational books, there's there's more or less no style. It's just writing as directed. So, or writing as God directs you to write. But I
Mhm.
think with fiction, you have to develop a style initially. I mean, at least not initially, but at least as you continue to write. And a lot of people would tell me like, "Why do you write that way?" Because, well, I don't like using descriptive paragraphs to talk about things. I rather just use the conversation to drive emotion. But that's just me. And like I said, writing inspirational books is a whole lot different than it is writing a fiction book, because this you guys are taking life experiences, and you're drawing inferences from your life experiences to
Mhm.
to to create positive words for people to take and put in their hearts, and
Mhm.
things that they can believe in. And for me, that's a style in and of its own, because you're taking your life experiences and you're putting them into positive affirmations or sentences or phrases that where people can draw in from those, and
Mhm.
live out their lives in a much more positive and more productive manner. So, I mean, I like the inspirational style, because, like I said, you guys write as God directs you to write, and it's just, if God pops an idea in your head, you're like, oh, let me write that down. Whereas for me, I gotta sit over and mull over it and kind of figure out how it's gonna fit. Yeah,
Mhm.
y'all have it lucky. Y'all have it lucky.
You can't even really say that because when writing, even though she has her notebook and she constantly writing, I have my computer. It's sometimes it's on my bed, sometimes it's on the side of my bed. If
Mhm.
God gives me something else to add to that, or
Mhm.
to um go put it in a specific place, I may have to go back, find that spot, squeeze it in there. So
Yeah.
it's all, it's it's all inspired by God to me, whether it's
Yeah.
fiction or not. It's all inspired by God. You just have to
Mhm.
be attentive enough to hear it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
very true, very very true. And I think that in the context of it all, it's the despite the genre of the book that you're writing, it still has a purpose behind it, because someone is going to be affected by that, or someone's going to be touched by
Mhm.
what you've written. You know.
Exactly.
Now, this is a question that I want to ask you, Michelle, and I I always ask authors that I interview here, because, and every time I ask this particular question, the answer remains consistent. So I have to ask you. So I'm going to ask you this as well. As someone who writes inspirational books, or inspirational books, with your first book out right now, do you feel that a lot of your life experiences have bled onto the pages that you wrote?
Mm, yes, yes, because a lot of the things that I have written was from my life experiences, like with the self esteem and with the relationships, the bad relationships. There was one writing in the book about having good relationships, not just like boyfriend and girlfriend, but also relationships with your family. Um, so it's a lot of things because I've gone through the bad relationship. That's another whole story. But 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 those writings, they do come from things that I have experiences with relationships and family and self esteem and just different stuff that I experienced through life growing up.
Right. Got you. I got you. I mean, and I think with any writer, me, Quint, and anybody else, and yourself, Michelle, that I mean, a lot of our a lot of our life experiences bleed through the pages that we write. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and though it's not always readily, well, I won't say readily. It's not though it's not always obviously clear. You know, if you read some pages and certain people, certain books, you was like, well, geez, I knew that person, or I didn't know that person was experiencing that until I read this book,
Mm-hmm.
or I didn't know that they had such a hard time dealing with a certain thing until I read this book.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's it's amazing how we as writers can so seamlessly inject our life experiences or what we feel or what we felt or what we've gone through, whether it's on a physical basis, emotional, or even mental basis, how we can seamlessly inject that into the pages we write, and
Mm-hmm.
it has an effect on someone. Now, I know for me, and this is another question that I have to ask. I know for me, there are parts of what I've written that were extremely emotional to the point I had to put down my pen and stop writing and step away from it.
Mm-hmm.
In the process of writing this book that you have out now, were there emotional moments to where you had to pull yourself away from it and come back to it at a particular moment in time?
There was one writing that I did, and it's called God, I Want to See What You See in Me. Because there was a lot, just it goes back to self esteem. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it ran my mind back to how people treated me, how people down talked me, said that I wasn't smart enough, wasn't good enough, wasn't pretty enough to hang in their group. Um, I wasn't able to hang in their little clique group. I
Mm,
wasn't popular enough. I just wasn't going nowhere in life. When
mm,
I wrote this, it really this is my favorite one because this one hits home for me because I had to ask God, Lord, let me see what you see in me. And he let me know that there is potential in you, but
Mhm.
you got to know it for yourself.
That's right.
And just step out of your comfort zone and go for what you want. Your goals and dreams, go for it. And don't
Mhm.
forget one thing. Don't drop your gift.
Mhm.
Whatever you do, don't drop your
mm,
gift and don't give up on your gift
That's
mm,
right.
because the greatness is in you.
Yes. Mm.
man. So
Powerful.
so I think I want you to expound on that one. So so why is it important for us to not drop our gift?
God has gifted, well, I'm going to say the three of us. God has gifted us. God has given us a gift.
Mhm.
We should not drop our gift because our gift can help people. Things that
Mhm.
we've gone through, our stories can help people,
Mhm.
inspire people to go on.
Yes, sir.
Don't give up, to keep pushing. And God has really inspired us and has given us great potential.
Mm-hmm.
Never drop the gift. Don't drop your gift. God don't
Mm-hmm.
want you to drop your gift because your gift can really, really help and encourage people to really keep pushing.
And just to expound on that, your gift makes room for you.
Yes.
So you not seeing your own potential the way God sees you, He
Mm-hmm.
can do exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask or think. But you have to believe what's in you already.
Mm-hmm.
You leave that, just like with my ministry, for example, My Life Has Destiny. I put it down for a minute and I was like, nobody knows me. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
work it. I'm not going
Yeah.
to do anything. And I moved to another state. The Lord, nobody but God, sent women my way for me to minister to. So My
Mm-hmm.
Life Has Destiny had to start all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I moved to North Carolina, he did the exact same thing. He sent Miss Empress Colleen Williams to collaborate with me so I can get it started in North Carolina. So I'm telling you, he said your gift will make room for you.
Yes.
What he puts in you, you're never supposed to let that die. You're supposed
Right.
to help somebody else. It's supposed to rise up in you to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's ministering to you, it's gonna minister to others.
That's right.
Man, let me tell you. and and I think even just when you mentioned about the fact of why you shouldn't drop your gift, I believe that the answer is that even to ask the question why is it important to not give up on your gift, I think the answer is really just synonymous with dropping it.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me the dropping and giving up on something to me is synonymous.
It's quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if you quit, if you give up on your gift, then how whose life are you changing? You have no idea. You have no idea whose life you can impact. You have no idea who could whose life you could save just by the words that you write or you speak. So
Mm-hmm.
by giving up on your gift, you give up on the potential, you give up on the opportunity and the potential to
Mm-hmm.
be a change agent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to me, especially in this time, in this time right now, nothing's more important to me than to be a change agent. You know, whether it's through the books that I write, whether it's through this platform of podcasting, or whether it's just you just speaking out against, you know, not I won't say against, but speaking out for things that I feel are important to me. Nothing's more important at this time and age is just to be a change agent. And
Mm-hmm.
I think even with the onset of the pandemic, I think a lot of people have become much more aware of the things that happen that are going on around them, and
Mm-hmm.
now they want to be active in their community. They want to be change agents now, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And now you have all these change agents, but you know and not enough organizations to put them in. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, to see that in some instance, to me to see that in some instance, it's a lovely thing.
Yes,
But
it is.
as things continue to progress and things of that nature, we're still going to need more change agents, and we're still going to need more organizations that to house and develop and, you know, push out these change agents, even the next generation of change agents. So
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
giving up on look, so you know, Michelle and Quinn, they you know, y'all need to listen to that because those are gems that were dropped, man. Dropping your gift means that you don't dropping and giving up on your gift means that you're not able to effectively help people and affect change in the way that you would want to see it. But not well, no, I won't even say you. I would say us as a people and us as a community and us as, you know, when I say us as a community and us as a people, we if you drop your gift, if you give up on it, you won't affect the type of change that you want to see happen. And you
That's
won't
right.
and you're not going to be able to touch the people that you want to touch
That's
because
right.
man, just you know to hear just to you know think about that and
Mhm.
and put that into its proper context. It really just puts me like in a really a very good emotional state because there was a time where I wanted to do the same thing that you did. I wanted to do this. I wanted to drop and just give up on things. And just to hear you say that, Michelle, and also Quint, you know, echo the same sentiment. That's really just confirmation of the decision that I made a long time ago to not give up and not drop what I have. So I want to commend y'all on that because that just brings about confirmation of what I was thinking of already.
Amen.
But it's man, I oh my god, oh my god, my heart is so full right now.
Mm-hmm.
Man, man. I tell you, I so tell you. So
I often tell people quitting is not an option. A lot of times when you're about to drop your gift or give up on yourself, 9 times out of 10, you're walking in a depressed state. You're ready for it to be the end for all. So, giving up is not an option. Quitting is not an option.
Mhm.
never,
It's never
never,
an option. You have to believe in yourself. You have to be able to move forward. You have to reach out to others. You have to encourage yourself when nobody's around. You have to be able to encourage yourself. You have to be able to believe in yourself. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a hug. Shoot.
Yeah.
We can't hug.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of us don't even want to touch anybody else. Give yourself a hug.
Yeah.
man. Look, all the time, hug yourself every day, all day.
That's right.
It's
That's right. It's so important. Believe in you. Love you. You are worth more than any negativity. You are worth more than being demeaned. You are important and you have to know it for yourself. It's so important. Hey, Mr.
man.
Brown.
Let me tell you, it's self love is the best love. I got to
Amen.
I got I
Yeah.
man, I gotta admit that self love is the best love.
Yes.
When you can wake up in the morning and hug yourself, and you
Hmm.
can
Yeah.
look in the mirror and tell yourself that I'm successful, I'm beautiful, I'm handsome, I'm all of these
Yes.
things.
Yes.
Yes.
It makes a day go by so much better, and
That's right.
you don't have to deal with so much heaviness that a lot of us take in
That's
on a
right.
daily basis. And
Amen.
man, look, every day you should hug yourself. Every day you should affirm to yourself. Every day you should say, I love me.
Yes.
And
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so
Yes.
important.
man, people. I mean, not too enough people don't understand that part of it. They don't
Mhm.
understand that part. It's okay to it's okay to be by yourself sometimes and love on yourself. That's not isolating yourself.
Yeah.
That's just loving on yourself. It's okay to be
That's
by
it.
yourself every once in a while.
That's it. And
Yeah.
sometimes God sanctifies us for a reason.
Yeah.
He sets us apart so that He
Hmm.
can heal what's going on inside of us. Sometimes
Hmm.
we need to take that time out to say, okay, Lord, I need you to deal with me. I'm not ready to deal with
Yeah.
anybody else because anybody else I'm either gonna hurt or they're gonna hurt me. I'm gonna
Yep.
be toxic to that
Hmm.
person. I need you now. I need you to deal with me. We have to do
Hmm.
those self evaluations. And like you said, affirming over your life, I need to see me as you see me, Lord. I am
Yeah.
God's masterpiece. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am
Hmm.
who you say I am. I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
Mm.
I'm unique.
Hmm.
I'm special. I am
Preach.
destiny. I am journey. I am love. I'm walking in my destiny. You tell yourself, let me tell you something. I get excited when we start talking about the goodness of God because I had
It's
to
a,
do this to get to where I am today because I didn't know my self worth. So I had to learn to love me and see me as God sees me. It's important.
Preach.
and also, and also, I want to add to that to never say never.
Never.
Mm,
Yes.
mm,
Because a lot of people will come in your
mm,
life and tell you, well, you ain't never gonna do this, you ain't never gonna do that, this and that. You let them know I'm never gonna give up on my dreams.
That's
I'm never
right.
gonna give up on working for what I want in life.
mm,
Take the word never out of your vocabulary because you can do all things through Christ.
mm,
Yes.
mm,
All you
And
mm,
got to
mm.
stop
do
saying
is
pride
keep
because that's
going.
a cop out. Do
Because
it.
Man.
Because on the other side of fear awaits great potential and great blessings for you. All you got to
Mhm.
do is go for it.
Right. And understand what fear is. Fear
Yes.
is false evidence appearing real. It's
Mm-hmm.
not real. And fear is supposed to make you take flight or fight. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do? Are you going to stop running and start fighting for what you truly believe
Right.
in, for what's truly inside of you?
That's right.
Giving up
Man.
is not an option.
Mm-mm.
You have to fight for what God says is for you.
That's right.
He blessed you and made you dominion from the garden. I said that last night. He said the enemy was going to bruise your heel, but you're going to bruise his head. You had dominion from the garden. Do you understand what that means? We walk in victory and not defeat.
Say so.
As Summer
Exactly.
Love said last night, stop victimizing yourself.
Man, look
Don't be
here.
a victim to your circumstances. Fight,
Yes.
fight, stand flat footed. The
Mm-hmm.
battle has already been won.
Mm,
That's right.
there you go.
It's up to you to see it. Walk in faith and not fear.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. And
Stop looking at your circumstances. Because guess what? They're supposed to make you stronger. You're supposed to learn a lesson out of it. You
Mm-hmm.
keep repeating it because you're not getting the lesson that God wanted you to get in the first place. So you're going in cycles. Take time to look and learn from that lesson.
Yes.
yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And even to add to that, really, and I know you guys will agree with me on this one. It's so many of us give up on our dreams and our hopes and our aspirations because we work on them so much and we work on them so hard and we feel that we're not making progress and we also feel that those things are not
Mm-hmm.
attainable at that
Mm-hmm.
point because we invest so much of our time, our energy, our money, our heart, our soul, our blood, our sweat, and our tears into what we're doing. But
Mm-hmm.
just like Miss Michelle said, just like Quint, just like Michelle and Quint so eloquently said it, never say never and never give up because you may be one hope or one dream away from attaining your goals, reaching your
Mm-hmm.
goals, reaching that pinnacle that you've been trying to get to for so very long, or finally getting over that hurdle that's been tripping you up for so very long. So
Mm-hmm.
don't give up on what you got going on.
Mm-hmm.
Keep pushing towards it.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to make adjustments to your plan, make adjustments to your plan. If you
Mm-hmm.
got to start over from square one, there's nothing wrong with starting over from square one. Just
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
just know in the rebuilding process, be smarter in it, be wiser in it.
That's right.
So
And embrace the process. You have
Mm-hmm.
to see the
Yep.
progress
trust the
in the process.
process. Trust the
See
Yes.
the progress.
process.
Understand. See the progress in the
Yep.
process. Let me give you an example. A lot of people smoke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you smoke 5 days a week and you go down to smoking two, guess what? You made progress.
Yeah.
Yep.
Progress in the process. You save what? $3?
Yeah.
See the progress in the process. It's simple. You have
Mm-hmm.
to see yourself elevating daily.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Your
Indeed.
learn to embrace it, you'll learn to love it, and you'll get
Indeed.
that much closer to it.
Indeed. It really, and that is so important. It's so important. And so the one thing I wanted to ask you, Michelle, and this I think, and I know for me this is one of those questions that I don't necessarily like answering, but I like asking. So when it comes to, like, your personal time and your creativity time, you know how do you separate those two, or how do you differentiate those two for yourself? You know, do well, I'll ask it in this manner. Do you find your creativity time interfering in your personal time, and how do you manage that?
Well, well, with personal time, um, all personal, anything personal, I handle all of that um in the daytime. Till I said till about 5, 6 o'clock. Now from 6 until I go to bed is my creative time. I go in
Got you.
my room, I go in my room, shut the door, and it's me, my notebook, the laptop, and I'm writing. I have I don't have the phone on, don't have the TV on, and it's just my personal time for me to write, and to listen to what, God wants me to write because, you know, like I said, I can't do this on my own. So that's why I get the inspiration to write what I write.
Mm. Yeah, y'all young writers, y'all need to listen to that, because you can't be creative if the TV's on.
Mm-mm.
You can't be creative if you're distracted. And I know everybody's their creativity thing time is a little is different than everyone else's. I
Mm-hmm.
know for me, it's I put my headphones on and I listen to jazz. That gets my creative juices flowing. So I mean, y'all young authors, y'all need to listen to that, because you can't be creative if you're distracted.
Right.
You don't create your best work when you're distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you create something, but, well, it'll be gibberish. But
Yep. Yep.
now now the thing of it is, I always like to ask the authors that I have on that I bring on this show, um, one thing, because, and the reason I like to ask this question is because we're all inspired by something or someone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this question is kind of a two-part thing. So, the first part of the question is, were you inspired by any other authors? Were you inspired by any other authors in this writing journey? And also, besides an author, what other things inspires you to want to, besides just the love of writing, what else inspires you to want to write?
Um, the only author that I really ever got into was reading the works of Maya Angelou because I liked
Ooh,
her
good one.
style and her writing.
Mm.
So I really was into reading her work.
Mm,
So she was a major author that I was into.
can never go
Now
wrong with her.
now the person the person that really inspired me in my writings is my mother. My mother always encouraged me to never give up on my writing.
Mm,
No matter how hard it gets, no matter how challenging it gets, no matter if you feel that nobody will read it or nobody want to hear it, she said keep writing because there is somebody that wants to hear it and needs to hear it.
that's right.
So she has encouraged me and pushed me to keep writing.
Mm.
So I would say my mother.
Wow, and that's the so I think that's the biggest inspiration of all. I think for anybody, whether it's a new writer or anybody else. I mean, to be just to have someone like a parent or even or a child even as your
Mhm.
inspiration to be creative and to for them to always continually push you into your greatness. You know,
Mhm.
that speaks so many volumes to a lot of things. It really speaks volumes to the simple fact that you have someone in your corner that's going
Mhm.
to always try to push you and propel you forward, despite you being like, man, I don't want to do this no more. I give up. I don't want to do this. It's too hard. And then
Mhm.
and then you got that one person like, get
Yeah.
up, get up, get up off your ass and let's go. I don't.
Yep.
I don't care what you gotta do, but dry your tears, put on some clothes, wipe your face, let's go. And
Mhm.
to have somebody that continually pushes you to be better and to do better is to me that's the greatest inspiration of all. Honestly speaking, you
Mhm.
know, I know for me is to I know my inspiration usually is if for me it's it's my granddaughter and my kids. You know, they're the ones that I want to carry on what I'm doing, and I want to be able to set the stage for them so that when they inherit this and they step to the stage, they're not nervous and they don't have it. They can take it and run with it, you know,
Mhm.
and build it out to what they want to build it out to, not just what I build it out to, but what they want to build it out to. Which leads to my next question. What is the important what how important is legacy building for you?
Hmm.
Um, Legacy building is very important because I want um people to remember me by the inspirational writings that I've written, that they were inspired by my writings and that they were uplifted and encouraged by my writings. I just don't want them to just read it and say, okay, she wrote a book. But I want
Mm,
them, as they read it, to be inspired and encouraged, to just keep going, keep
Hmm.
pushing, be determined to achieve your goals and dreams of success.
mm-hmm.
Never give up.
Indeed, indeed. And I like that answer because I think for me, legacy is extremely important. Again, I have a granddaughter, and I have you know two boys and another daughter and a daughter, and again, I want to be able to leave this with them,
Mm-hmm.
and let them take it and let them build it out to what they want to build it out to, and run with it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be constrained by how I put it, how I constructed it. Build it out how you want to build it out. Make it do what you want it to do. So for me, the legacy is extremely important,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that it's if you don't have you if you're not leaving behind a legacy for somebody, you know, I won't necessarily say that you're not doing anything properly because that to me that's kind of like that slippery slope when you say when people say legacy because you can leave something out for someone and they don't take it and run with it and they let whatever you build stagnate.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But if you give it to someone who understands the importance of it, understands the reasonings behind it, or understands the purposes of it, those are the ones that are going to build it out to something that is way more than what you ever would have imagined or ever would have thought of initially.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So,
But they say success leaves clues.
of course it does.
You're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to leave an inheritance to your children's children.
Of
Mm-hmm.
So
course.
it's so important for you to leave that legacy. And it's not always finances. A book, it will go far,
Oh yeah.
real
Mm-hmm.
far.
A,
So
a
yeah,
platform like this will go far too. I mean, like I said, just
exactly.
yeah. So it's important.
Exactly. It's very important. I have three grandchildren. So
That's
it's so important to leave a legacy and for
right.
them to want to do it. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's
even if they
another.
and even if they don't want to do it, they can find inspiration in what it is that you did,
Right.
and they
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
can
Yeah.
and they can either they can emulate it or they can do something completely different with it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So so Michelle, on this little this thing we call life so far, as now you're a published author and your book is gaining traction, you know, where at what stage do you see yourself in this marathon of being a published author and then now gaining recognition? You know, do you and I'm talking and I'm asking this from the aspect of it being a published author. Do you see yourself at the beginning of this marathon? Are you at the middle point, or do you see yourself in the home stretch?
Um. Now I see myself really now at the middle point, going towards the home stretch. So but I'm really happy about the book and
Mm-hmm.
that the recognition that it's starting to gain and the reviews that it's getting. So I am just grateful that the book is out. And because when I got the book, when I first got the book in my hand, it didn't feel real.
It
Cause
didn't.
it didn't, cause I couldn't believe that this book had my name on it. Because being an author was a dream of mine. And when the dream becomes a reality, you just you just can't believe it. It was unbelievable. So I'm just glad that it's out, and I'm thankful that it's out there, and it's inspiring and encouraging people.
Man, I know that feeling. I know that feeling when you first saw your book and what your name was. I know it was really that surreal moment. Like,
Yeah,
I did this, huh? For
yeah.
real. I accomplished this. I actually put this out there into the world. You
Hmm.
know, and
Let me
yeah.
tell you something. The first time I Googled my name and I seen like magazine articles and my books come up and where to find it, I was like, oh my God, is that me? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all of this comes up on me when you Google me? No, no. And this just happened like 2 weeks ago. I was like, this is crazy. Are you serious
Yeah.
right now? No, this can't be me. Like, and they was just laughing at me, but it's a humbling, it's a
Yeah.
humbling experience. It's a humbling state. And all I can say is to God be the glory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because to see just, I'm like, little old me, I'm
Mhm.
nobody. Like, and
Yeah.
all of this comes up. This is
Mhm.
crazy.
And it's
So,
I know it's crazy when you finally see the product or the baby that
Mhm.
you've helped birth in your
Mhm.
hand, and you're like,
yes,
wow, I
yes.
did
Yes.
this. And then I know for me when I first looked at the first copy, I looked at the book, looked up, I looked at the book again, looked up again, like this is real. And then I had to pinch myself like, wait a minute, this is not real. Then I had to pinch myself like, oh, okay, this is real. This is really happening.
Mhm.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
actually happening. And
Mhm.
just like Quinn said, just to see your name on when you Google search
Mhm.
yourself, and you're like, wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
all of this? Alrighty then,
Right.
this is what it's gonna be. And it's the I for and the one thing that I love about this particular platform and just being able to support those who birth out, you know, books of all genres, whether it's inspirational, whether it's urban fiction, whether it's Christian fiction, whether it's, erotica or whatnot. For me, I celebrate authors. I don't. It does, for me. It's not a genre thing. I celebrate authors. I celebrate writers. Because first and foremost, it takes a tremendous amount of time. It takes a tremendous amount of time. Number one, effort and an investment emotionally, mentally, and physically
Mm-hmm.
to birth out a book,
Mm-hmm.
and then to have that book in your hands, and then to try to market it to people, and to get people to to read it and leave a like or
Mm-hmm.
leave a review. That's hard. That's difficult in and of itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for those of us who are independent authors who have to pay, who have to kick out everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Editing, you have
Yeah.
it takes it's a I look at it as a you know as a it's a birthing process, because you come from concept, that's the first trimester. The writing part is
Mm-hmm.
the second trimester. The publishing and the editing part, and then the release, that's the third trimester.
Yeah.
And now you got this baby that you're nurturing, and you're getting people to recognize, and sometimes that can be difficult. And I know Quinn can attest to this, and I can too. I mean, this you have your ups and downs as being an author, because not everybody's gonna want to latch on to what you write. They don't want to believe. They don't want to catch on what you say, and it goes with the territory. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it goes with the territory. But I want you to actually what could you say to I won't even say a young author, but an author, regardless of the age, trying to get themselves into this, no matter the genre. What would you say to them, as they're going through this birthing process?
I would say do it. Don't
Simple as that.
don't be hesitant. Just do it.
Just like Nike, huh?
just,
Yes.
Plain and
just
simple.
yeah, just do it. Because you never know um who your story will help.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So just do it. Just step out on faith and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't drop the gift. Just do it.
Just do it. I like that.
Indeed. I mean,
Just do it.
and I think it's important that a lot, but now, as being an author, all three of us are writers. What could you see? What do you think could the reason I'm asking this question, I'm looking at it from not a urban fiction standpoint, or even a African American writing standpoint. But now being an author, what do you think could be done differently? Now that you're published, and now that you have your book out there on major platforms such as Amazon and maybe other platforms, what do you see could be conducted differently that could make another person's journey better?
Um,
And you can look at your own journey to see, because I know in our journey, I know in some of our journeys there have been some bumps along the road, or some hiccups. So you can look at your own journey too.
well, I think, I can only speak for me, that the journey for me could have been more easier if I would have not hesitated so much to do the book, because I hesitated a lot. Like I said before, just afraid of what people was not going to respond to the book. But I believe I would have been made the journey more easier if I just went ahead with the book, instead of just hesitating. Will this happen? Will that happen? And just went ahead and do it. So I believe the journey would have been more easier for me.
I think that speaks to things. I think I can relate to that as well, and I'm pretty sure Quint can too, because of a lot of the what ifs
Mm-hmm.
They'll run through your head as somewhere as you're writing this. Well, what
Yep.
if nobody don't? What if nobody likes this? What if
Yep.
nobody don't read it? What if nobody leaves a positive review? What
Yep.
if? What if? What if? What if? And
Well,
then you
see,
can. And
mine wasn't that.
mine was.
I
Yep.
didn't have
mine was.
mine was okay, I'm about to be real transparent, which is gonna make me real vulnerable. Um, yeah, I got a problem with that. Now, now seeing what other authors have gone through, my biggest thing, pray over your team. Because there are
Mm,
some people that have went with publishers. I didn't go with a publisher off gate. I self-published. I had an awesome editor of my first book. My second book, she started editing, but I ended up finishing
mm,
it myself. And then I found myself editing other people's books as well as um helping them to self-publish as well as putting them out there because I didn't want to see them struggle and they were on the verge of giving up. So when it came to the writing, because they were hurt so many times from the team that they had, and they dished out all
mm,
this money to editors that did not understand their book, nor did they know how to edit their book. So to me, it's so important to pray over your team and
mm,
get you a good editor, whether it be an old high school teacher, whether it be one of your friends that's proofreading your book. I mean, get you a great editor. Um, if you need my help, reach out. We can
mm,
discuss uh, the rest later, the particulars later, but reach out if you need help. But that part is so important. It's very,
mm,
very important, and it'll make your journey that much easier. So
mm.
that's my
Man,
big.
man. My what if, man, I what if myself into a crying fit, so I ain't gonna even lie.
Yep. I did
I,
too.
I didn't do that part. I was
well,
walking in obedience.
well, we did.
Yep.
I ain't embarrassed about it. I mean, but
Yep. I
I literally
did.
what if myself into a crying fit, like,
Yep.
what? I can't do this. I don't want to do this stuff.
Mm-mm,
Man, look,
mm-mm,
boo hooing and everything, just like got to the
mm-mm.
point of like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, it just hit me like, look, man, just stop hitting yourself over the head. Just do it and just get it done.
Yep.
Worry about the consequences later, or better yet, or worry about the consequences or the backlash later. People gonna
Mhm.
like it. They not gonna like it.
Right, and your books are awesome. I've read your books, so
See the here we go.
yes, I'm telling you guys, if you
Here
have
we
not
go.
read Fred's book, go to Amazon. FLBD.
Here
His
we
books
go.
deal with domestic violence, and they are awesome.
Here
I'm
we go.
telling you, not only do you get the entertainment part, but you get the education part also. So get his book. Get his book. Get his book. Yes, he is an advocate for domestic violence. I proudly say that.
Hey, wait a minute.
He may not talk about it all the time, but he is. Go get his book.
wait a
Okay.
minute. Shameless plug. Thank you very
Shameless
much.
plug.
But shameless plug. And she's shaking her head like I
Right.
mean, every once in a while she good for that. So I mean, when she throw that in there, I'm like, you know what? Don't embarrass me, please. And then she proceeds to do it. That's why I love her, man. That's why I love her. That's why I love her. That's why I love her. So I mean, besides the point of the fact of now being a newly published author, I mean, now what's next? What's next down the line for you? What else? What else do you have? What else are you gonna bless us with?
Um. Well, next coming up, I want to do two more books. The first book is Christian Inspirational Writings 2. I want to do a second book. And then the next book I want to do is my life story. Um, the reason I want to do the life story is because I want my readers to know and understand where I came from and the process that I went through with my writings. In the book, I could tell you that in this book of my life story, I have one testimony in the book where I was 6 years old, and me and my cousins, we got off the school bus in front of my grandmother's house. When the bus stopped, there was an impatient driver that was driving an 18-wheeler truck.
Oh boy.
And he came around, you know where the doors open on the bus? He came around the bus.
Oh my goodness.
And if God did not get the attention of the bus driver, I would have been the first one hit coming off the bus. So that's one major testimony that's going to be in the book. So that's why I realized God has a purpose for me writing the way that I do.
Yes.
So I will be working on the books.
Okay.
And as you know, I have the Off the World live show that I do. And Mr. Red, he's gonna be on the show. We finally hooked up. And I also have a podcast on Anchor called the Positive Talk Inspirational Podcast. And I'll just be doing writings and working on the book. And I'll be also posting in the group the updates about the books that are coming up.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, so you got a podcast on Anchor, so I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, it's the Positive Inspirational Talk Podcast with Michelle.
Awesome.
Ooh.
That is so awesome.
Mad awesome. Mad awesome. Y'all go check that out. Please go check that out. Please go check that out. So I'm gonna give you this opportunity right now to just shamelessly plug yourself. Let everybody know who you are, where they can find your books and where they can find your podcast, and where they can find you on social media. So right now, got the floor.
Well, first of all, I want to say that it's been an honor and a pleasure being on the show. I thank both of you for being wonderful hosts. I thank y'all so much. You can find me. You can find me. I love y'all.
We love you too.
You can find me on. You can find me on social media on the Author's World. My page is the Author's World, or you can hook up with me on my Facebook page, authoress Michelle Cain. Also, you can contact me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at Christian Inspirational Writings. You also can follow me on Instagram on Christian Inspirational News. The podcast is the Positive Inspirational Talk Podcast with Michelle, and it is on Anchor. Also the book, you can find the book on Amazon. It's also on Barnes and Noble, and it's also on Books A Million. So I just thank y'all for having me on the show. Thank you.
We thank you for being here. That is so awesome. Y'all go get her book. I also
We thank you
put
being here.
her link in the chat, so you can click on the link and go get her book from Amazon. So get her book, y'all. Get her book. Follow her on all of her social media sites.
Man, look, y'all. If y'all don't follow her, man, I'm gonna come for y'all.
Oh.
I'm just letting y'all know. If y'all don't follow her, I'm gonna come for y'all. Because first and foremost, this young lady is a talented author. First and foremost, so If y'all don't follow her on her social media, if y'all don't listen to her podcast, I'm a literally come for y'all. Which means I'm gonna come literally knock on your door,
Mm,
and I'm
mm.
gonna tell you, follow. If you don't follow her, please. Well, I ain't gonna knock on your door, so I mean, there might be a bad thing. So I won't do that. But please, I beg of y'all, please follow her. I'm begging y'all, please follow her, man. And the reason I say this, and the reason I'm emphasizing this is that as an author, we put time, blood, sweat, tears, our our mental and our mental and our emotional aspects of ourselves into what we write, and too often these books get published and they don't get recognized, and they don't, and these authors such as Miss Michelle and myself and Quint and Colleen, and there's so many other authors that I can name. You know, there's too many of them to name actually. Authors that I'm connected with, authors that Quint's connected with, authors that Michelle are connected with. Too many times a lot of us, or a lot of these talented people, don't get the recognition that they deserve. So I'm saying it's not, I'm not saying this as a podcast host. I'm saying this as an author. You know, follow us on our social media pages. Um, pick up one of our books. Read our books. Give a review. Have a discussion about our books. Those things are positive reinforcement to us as writers. They let us know that we're going on. Number one, we're going on the right. We're doing the right thing. And number two, it lets us know that that we have an audience out there, someone who is truly invested in wanting to read what we have and give positive feedback to what we have. Like I said, I'm not saying this as a podcast host. I'm saying this as an author. All three of us here, we put everything that we could into into the things we write, and we will continue to do that with the things that we write. As long as there's someone to be, as long as there's someone to be inspired by us, as long as there's someone to be positively affected by us. So, not as a podcast host, but as an author, and as someone who follows other authors and who supports other authors. You know, as you guys are readers, I mean, y'all support is so much needed and so much welcome. It affects us on such a positive way y'all do not understand.
Right.
Just to see a 5-star review, puts a smile on our faces. Or to see that somebody inbox you say, the book that you wrote changed my life, or it made me think a different way, or inspired me to be a better person. So please support an author. It doesn't matter the genre, but support an author. That's not a beg, that's not a plead. It's just something that you should do. If you got a favorite author, support them.
Yeah.
Even if you don't got a favorite author, support whomever. Support goes a long way. It just really does, because y'all support is readers support is the fuel that keeps us that keeps us being creative.
Yeah.
And we can't do it without your support. I know for me, and I'm pretty sure Quint and Michelle will agree with me on this. For me, it's never been about monetary gain. It's been about being a change agent to somebody's life. If I can affect one person's life, I don't want to say it's a mission complete, but if one person is affected, then I'm at a point where I'm happy and I can keep writing. If I can affect more than that, then that's even better.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
it's important to support everybody. I mean, I don't know, that's for me, that's an emotional plea to readers and other people alike. But I have to say that, too many times I feature, Quint, myself, Coco, we feature talented authors such as Michelle on this show, and these are folks that are immensely talented, and they're not writing. I mean, I won't say they're not writing for their health, but they're writing because they have a message that they want to put out here to the
Mhm.
people, not only in their community and not only in where they live, but to the world. And it's
Mhm.
important that we share these stories.
Amen.
You know,
Yeah.
inspirational books like Michelle's and books like Quint's and Colleen's books, and again, like I said, there's so many people that I can not name. You know,
Mhm.
books are from my brother T.B. Scott and um,
Mhm.
Hershey Stephenson, and um, so like I
Mr.
said, it's so many.
Anthony Brown that's up here. He
Yeah,
has
and
out.
Mr. Anthony Brown. There's so many authors
Mhm.
I could go off and name it, but it would probably take me. It would probably
Whatever.
take up the rest of the show and then some. So I won't. But all those people that I mentioned and so many more, they they deserve the support. They need the support, and I think it's very important for us to do that. You know, and I can't stress that enough, y'all. I can't.
Mhm.
Miss Michelle, do you have a website?
Well, I have a blog site that I do.
Okay. What's
Uh,
that?
it's the world of the authoress
Ooh,
dot blogspot blogspot .com. So I have a blog website.
cool,
Awesome.
awesome, 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 awesome,
All right.
awesome.
Follow that, guys. I put it in the chat.
Look, please. I mean, like I said, follow this young lady. She's got inspirational stories and a whole lot more coming out. So I want y'all to keep y'all ears to the ground when it comes to her because yeah, and pick up her book. I promise y'all gonna be y'all gonna be pleasantly surprised. And when I say pleasantly surprised, I mean it with a capital P.
Hmm.
So but now I guess now we get to the point of the show to where I guess we just throw out some announcements. I guess I don't know. You got anything? You got anything coming, Quint?
Um, on June 7th, we have Rodrika. She is going to debut us with her first single, Rodrika Stevens. She's going to debut us with her first singles and she's going to tell us about her journey. She is a gospel singer. On June 9th, we have Pastor Chandra Frazier.
Mm.
She's going to give us her testimony about domestic violence and how she overcame. On June 14th, we have our very own Coco Fenton. She's going to give us her testimony and talk about her new book that's coming out in July.
Oh.
And I'm going to stop there for that. Oh, June 17th, I will be on Unapologetically Free giving my testimony on their platform. You
Cool.
can find any of this information on my page. June 26th, we have a men's conference coming up. Hey, it's going to be awesome. Guys,
Right.
you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss it. We have some men giving their testimony about how they overcame sexual abuse. We also have a powerful woman giving hers. And then we have Pastor Mark Page that's going to bring us the message on that night. So y'all don't want to miss it.
Cool. That's what's up. That's what's up. So just to let you guys know what the other side of this platform has going on tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna have Miss Lachelle Rianne McBride here. She's an author and she's also a painter. So we're gonna talk about her journey as a painter and also as an author. Um, let's see what else I got going on. Oh, June the 11th. I'm going to be interviewing gospel singer Lonnie Crawford, and we're going to have a great time talking about her journey as a musician and what she's got going on down the pipe for her. June the 10th, I am featured on a show called Float On. That I'll make sure that link is available for you guys, and that episode is on June 10th. On that day, I haven't had anything else scheduled, but I actually do. I'm looking to bring a good friend of mine. He's an independent artist. I'm looking to bring him on the platform and talk to him, but I haven't secured a date for that yet. But oh, June 23rd, um, the there's going to be a senior appreciation day for, and this is and this is in support of a good friend of mine, Mr. Russell Tyson, who I've had on this show before. His stage play A Changed Mind is going to be here in the in the Atlanta, Georgia area for a couple of showings. One's on the 23rd. That's a Wednesday. That's going to be a special senior appreciation day. The tickets will be at a discounted price for seniors. And then on the 27th, that following Sunday, the stage play will be here in Atlanta again, and this will be at the Atrium, and I think it's 5497 Memorial Drive in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Tickets are still available now. You guys do not want to miss this particular play. This is a wonderful, wonderful play that has a very strong message to it. So if you're in the Atlanta area, in the Stone Mountain area, come on out to the Atrium, purchase a ticket, and it's gonna be. You guys are gonna have a good time, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Also, last but most certainly not least, the premiere episode of Unpopular Opinion with yours truly debuted June the 1st on Anchor. It's also available on Spotify and also on Google Podcasts. You guys, check that out, man. To let you guys know, give you guys a little bit of the subject matter. I talked a little bit about why George Floyd's case did not change the world, but that's a subject for another time and another place. But go check that out. It debuted on June the 1st. It's on Anchor, it's on Spotify, it's on Google Podcasts. Go check that out. If you guys want to have a discussion about that, or have a subject to talk about, let me know. Hit us up or hit me up on our email. Oh, last but not least, because I'm talking too much now. If you are an author, if you are an independent artist, if you are a spiritual leader, if you have a business, if you have a product please, we want to hear from you. Hit us up on our email, trailblazers with a Z radio@gmail.com. Tell us about your book, your music career, your business. Let us know. Tell us about that. And we want to feature you on our show. We want to interview you. We want to bring your business, your music, your book. We want to bring that to light. We want to bring that to exposure, and introduce you to our family. So that way, introduce you to our family. So you'll be able to be even more, get more exposure. And we also have a Facebook group, and I keep forgetting the name of it. What's the name of that group, Quinn? I always forget it.
The Authors Cafe and Book Club.
Okay, so the Authors Cafe and Book Club. If you are an author and you want to be a part of this wonderful group, all it requires is a $5 investment. That's all it requires is $5. You can get a Happy Meal or biggie bag for that much money. And for this $5 investment, you're part of our group. We'll also discuss your book, and you'll also be able to be interviewed here on this platform. So yeah, so now you get double exposure. Your book's talked about. You get an interview with us, and again, we introduce you to our family, so that way, our family can introduce you to their family. So yeah, that's what's up, man.
We go live on 8 different destinations. So you're being seen on a lot of different platforms. Okay. We do an author of the week that we promote. Miss Michelle, authoress Michelle was promoted this week. Yep. We encourage the group to purchase the book. We really support, because we want to give you the exposure that us authors do not get.
Yeah.
So,
and again, it's a $5 investment. Like I said, you guys buy a biggie bag from Wendy's for $5 and some change.
Yeah.
and I think the return on investment is, I believe, is well worth it. You know,
Yeah,
your books are exposed. Our books are on our Facebook page. Will we have a book. We'll have a book discussion about your book, and then you get interviewed on our platform, which is,
exactly.
Yes.
which is something that's, I think, you get a nice return on investment with that. So
Yes.
by all means, check us out on our page on Facebook. Check us out. Continue to follow us on our Facebook page at Trailblazers Radio, Instagram at Trailblazers Radio, YouTube page at Trailblazers Radio. Also continue to follow and like and share on any platforms that you're on. Share this with your circle of influence. Share this particular podcast with anyone on your circle of influence, or anyone that's an author that wants exposure, or anything of that nature, even if it's just for entertainment purposes. Like and share it. Also continue to support my sisters, Coco Fitton and excuse me, and Quint Jones at their respective platforms, Curvy Roll Entertainment and Travel, and also My Life Has Destiny, respectively. These two ladies have walked side by side with me throughout this whole process, and I couldn't ask for better people to walk with me throughout this process. There are so many other people that walk with me as well, and a lot of those people are behind the scenes, and they show their support. But to have two people to walk beside you and just help propel this to where it is right now, you know, it's amazing, and I'm I'm so grateful. I'm so fortunate, and I thank God for it. To
Mm.
have you ladies here with me and continue walking with me throughout this process. It's been a road, but that road's begin to smooth out, and we gonna we finna start going some places. We finna start going places, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm so looking
And
forward to that. You know, so just
we enjoyed the ride.
exactly. So I just want to let you guys know, just to stay connected to us, man, because we got good things coming down, and I want you guys to stay connected with us. You know,
Mhm.
and most importantly, I really want to thank our guest tonight, author
Yes,
Michelle Cain, for coming on here and blessing us with her
yes.
presence and talking about her inspirational book, and just really just being here, showing her enthusiasm for what she does. I'm very appreciative of you coming on tonight and
Mhm.
just blessing us with your presence. I am grateful to you. So thank you so very much for that.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
y'all. Thank y'all. And I love y'all so much.
We
Love you
love you
too.
too. We do. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to introduce to some and reintroduce to others my sister in the my sister in literature, and also my sister in Christ, Miss Author is Michelle Cain. This is a wonderful person. Y'all, I want y'all to go check out her platform, check out her many platforms, check out her podcast, check out her book, check out her Facebook page. Look, check out her Instagram page. Look, I guarantee y'all will not be disappointed. She has a lot of things going on, and just keep your ear out on the ground for the things that she has coming up, man. I promise y'all won't be disappointed. And before before I go, I want to leave you guys. I want to leave everybody that's been watching with this particular thing. Processes are things that are to be embraced, regardless of what the process is. Whether it's the process of birthing out a book, whether it's the process of birthing out a song, whether it's the process of birthing out a business, or whether it's just the process of just going through day-to-day thing. Processes are to be embraced. They're not to be ignored. These processes make us better people in the end, but they also strengthen us, and they also strengthen us as beings. But they also give us the resolve to continue to move forward despite what we see, what we see physically, and also what we feel emotionally, and what we think mentally. I cannot think of a better way to end this show by saying that. And Miss Michelle Cain said it so eloquently. Trust the process. The process will always lead you to the right direction, and it will always lead you to the outcome that you want to have.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude our show tonight. But we're gonna be gone. We're gonna be gone, but we're not gonna be gone for long. So we're gonna see you guys on Saturday, and then again on Mondays and Wednesdays, and also again on Fridays. With that being said, I want everybody to, number one, take care of each other. Number two, love on each other, and be safe and be careful out there. We love y'all, and there ain't nothing y'all can do about it. Till next time, see y'all guys later. Be
Good
careful.
night.